guys, Tom Shu here, and today I want to show you guys how to deal with haloing. You know, when you process your images and you get a little overboard sometimes with sharpening and contrast and all kinds of structure, you can end up with haloing because sharpening basically is right at the edge between a dark and a light point. It brightens and darkens it. So where the pixels meet, it makes it brighter when it's light and it makes it darker when it's dark, and that leaves this white line around here. Now I went in and I over sharpened this image like crazy, and I did it for a purpose so I can show you this haloing. Okay, so let's take and zoom in. We're in Photoshop. I handed this in from Lightroom, and you can see that there's this kind of like a white let's pull this up. There's this little white area in between the tree and the sky, and that's where the processing actually created that halo. Okay, and it's around the leaves and the trees, and it's just a nightmare to deal with. Now there's a lot of banding, vertical banding and stuff like that, and that's due to a processor, right? A processing in NIC. And you know, we can blur that out, that's not a problem. But if you look at this, there's also some sensor spots. Now, there's lots of ways to do things in Photoshop, but I'm going to show you one way that I like to do it, okay? And this is probably the most effective way to deal with halos. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to just create a blank layer, okay? Now, you're going to take this layer's blend mode and you're going to change it to darken, okay? Right here, it's the first one, darken. And let's zoom in a little bit here so we can see what's happening here. So we're going to hit the Z key, and we're just going to slide over. Okay, now let me actually zoom back out. If you notice this sky, it kind of changes as a gradient. You know, it goes from this color of a gray to dark, this gray to dark. So basically, you want to be aware of that because we're going to use this clone stamp tool, and we're going to sample. We don't want to sample from up here. Like if we hold down the Alt key, and that's the Option key on a Mac, and we set that as our reference point, and you come down here and you start drawing in, you see how it's dark right there? It's because it sampled from that dark area. You need to sample from close by. So let's zoom in here so we can see this white area, okay? And we want to sample from somewhere that's close by. So let's make our little brush a little bit smaller, and I did that with a keyboard shortcut, which is Control and Alt, and that's Command and Option. If you hold those down together and you right mouse click, it will let you left and right will resize the brush, and up and down will feather the brush. So I'm going to feather it a little bit. Okay, make it somewhere like that, and size it like this. So now I'm going to hold down that Alt key, that's the Option key on the Mac, and I'm going to grab a sample area right over in here. Okay, and now that I've sampled, I'm going to left click right there and create the sample, and then I'm just going to come in here and I'm just going to paint right there alongside that dark tree, and guess what? It fills it in because it's darkening. You know, it doesn't overpaint that tree. So let's just grab a bigger brush here and let's just get sloppy real quick with it, and you can see that I can get rid of that halo real quickly. Now you can see that the color is different because the gradient's different. So I can resample, click down the Alt key right here, and then just paint in, okay, and kind of blend that in, that area, and Alt again and blend. Let's make it bigger and let's feather it. Okay, I can Alt and blend in this area. Okay, so let's work with this area down here. So resize our brush again. This can get kind of tedious, but this is the only way I know to get rid of it. So we're Alt click there, and see if what'll happen is if you say if we sampled here at this area right here and we tried to go too far, the sample area is going to redraw our tree. You see how it's adding tree lines in there because it's sampling. You see the cross behind the circle? It's trying to sample from what it's laying over, which happens to be a tree. So let's undo that. And I'm going to sample here, and the trick is to sample a lot. Okay, so it's going to sample a lot of times. It's close by the area that we're working on, and then you won't have to worry about it. So it's a matter of just Alt click and draw, Alt click and draw. Now we can sample way up here and come down here and clean in some of that gray area there if we like. And we can Alt click here and come in here and clean in some of that gray area. And the idea is just to get rid of that white line. So we'll sample close and draw in, sample close and draw in, sample close and draw in. And this is how you quickly fix haloing. Okay, just alt click close by, just get rid of it. And this is a really valuable tool when you've applied selective sharpening, you've done everything. So let me show you what happens with these trees. These are kind of easy to do. We'll just alt click up here somewhere and we'll just come in and paint around these trees. Look at that. All that white stuff is gone. Same thing, alt click, paint. We can sample way over there and it'll give us lots of room to work. Alt click and paint. And you see how quickly you can fix those trees. So that's it. I want to thank you all for taking time to visit with me today. And if you ever need to deal with haloing, now you know how to fix it. And so until next time, we'll see you soon.